Hi everybody, it's Mark Sage again with our latest Fireside Chat. As you know, within our Fireside Chats, we talk to some of the world industry leaders and expert in XR technology, people that have been there and done it, and to get their views on the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the work that they've done. So it's a great pleasure of, and I say this every time I do a Fireside Chat, but an old friend of mine, as in a long time, Mark Gröb. Mark, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll ask you some questions.
Sure. Well, my name is Mark Gröb. I currently work for UPS on the subject matter expert around XR and immersive technology, AI, and things like that. I've been in the industry of VR since 1998, so I've been around for a while. That's kind of how we know each other. Just very passionate about this technology, different associations and such, and I'm always happy to sort of pass little nuggets along to help everybody out. So I'm looking forward to the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Well, let's get going with the first question. So what specific industry problems are being solved using XR technology, and why is XR a game changer in tackling those issues?
Well, I would say probably over the last 2 years or so, right? The no-brainer has been training. Using simulation has been for many, many, many years used to train. It's just very highly scalable. With XR technology now, right, we can sort of do our training at home with our personal devices, or we can be in a very complex, advanced simulator environment with VR, right, to do a specific task. So those specific sort of areas, training, it's been a problem solved for years, and it's really just a question of scaling it right for your business. Other big game changer areas, I would say lately in the last 2 years, would be the augmentation to design. So be it looking at the technology as a hardware platform to assist in the design process or the sort of planning process of what your business is doing. I've seen a lot of traction in that space, between that and how it very evenly works with frameworks like digital twins and obviously now generative AI. I'm seeing some good improvements there, right? We have a lot of popular big names in the biz right now of AI, where they really utilize the XR technology to sort of provide a human interface to it, right? Because it's great you have AI and data, right? But XR devices are great because it allows us to visually, sort of as a human, understand and confirm that the data is being done right. That's another big space. The aspects of training the machine learning aspect of it, where the AI is mimicking a humanoid robot or whatever it is mimicking a human behavior through an XR platform. Those are spaces I would say lately I would call are game changers. Um, we hear about Apple Vision and all that, but the bigger sort of places are in industry and logistics, the concepts of so the near time, real time sort of aspects of understanding data as it happens. Those are just big. They're huge, right? I'd say those are the key places right now that I'm seeing where we're sort of taking care of that. Why are they big game changers? Just because right now AI is the thing, and with AI there's data. So having XR platforms that help you understand and can even in some cases act as a platform, containerizing what AI can do or what AI can learn is huge. It's big.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And I know we've been doing a lot, as in the area within our parent company, which is Object Management Group, around the AI and XR part. So not only looking at the use cases as one important element of it, but also some of those kind of benefits and some of those challenges, which, to be honest, takes me nicely onto the next question, is about those benefits. So what kind of tangible and maybe touch on some intangible benefits have you observed by deploying XR solutions?
Also,
And how is this kind of gone? Sorry.
I was going to say I'll try my best in the sense of talk about tangibles and what level I can. Part of it when you ask, oh, what tangible benefits are there, right? In what I do, there is competitive advantages to that. So I'll speak in generic terms, right?
Mm,
So in sense of tangible benefits, right? The technology in XR now is is much easier to deploy than it used to be, right? We look at the Quest 3s, we look at the XR Elites, the Vive, Vision headsets and things like that. They're now coming out, right? They're all mixed reality capable. They all have LiDAR sensors and crazy, things jammed into a real small package, right? So the tangibility of being able to rapidly deploy and manage, those are huge. That's for many years, and what I do, that's always been a challenge in enterprise, right? So the tangible benefits of being able now to easily deploy the technology using things like MDMs like ArborXR or ManageXR, right? Huge, 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 huge benefits from the tangible side because it's just so much easier to get it out there. Which also kind of plays into, we still have the tangible issue of access to these platforms, right? And that's where XR technology, I'm starting to see, it's starting to branch out more to not just the all-in-one VR headset, XR headset that is MR capable, but instead it's, I can use it on my iPhone at the same time, tablet at the same time, PC at the same time, all within that persistent collaborative space, right? Those are sort of tangible, also intangible benefits to the technology, right? These are things that uniquely it can do that a lot of other technology can't. Other places would be like for tangible in the sense of performance. I would talk about training. To cut traditionally what would be, say, a time period of 3 down to a time period of 1 is substantial, right? When you start thinking about time cost spent and things like that, right? Just saving time, cutting time down to a third, those are huge tangible benefits to the technology, right? To the idea that I call the sweet spot, right? We look at AR or augmented work instruction, right? It's giving someone the ability first time, all the time, getting 0 errors in a task, right? That's also a huge tangible, also intangible benefit to the technology, right? These are things that we're seeing now because one, cost of XR is coming down, it's more deployable, right? So we can start actually actualizing on it. Other pieces, so we'll say intangibles is like we talked about AI, right? The ability to coordinate in a logical manner for humans, right? And have the assisted help of AI in real time to do it, right? Because you hear about Apple and their amazing AI intelligence and Qualcomm doing their thing. Those are also big intangible benefits. The aspect of having a virtual assistant, be it in a training environment or in an operational environment, it's huge. And these are all things that, in the end, they're time saver, they're adding value, they're upscaling or empowering employees to do what they need to do to get the job done, right? So yeah.
Perfect. Do you think, Mark, we do enough as an industry of talking about those benefits? I know it's difficult because there is a competitive advantage, but one of the things I think we struggle with is being able to articulate kind of benefits. Is that something
it's a challenge, and I think it's gonna be a challenge, right? When economics get hard, like some people are projecting it's going to be, right? That competitive advantage door starts to close. We were at a point now where it was willing to open and people were willing to share. Now I'm predicting we're going to start seeing that door close again. And that's a challenge, right? Because we've learned from Microsoft, we've learned from Magic Leap, we've learned even from Apple, right? Closed ecosystems are not successful when it comes to XR technology, right? Keeping those systems open, right, to the community is way more successful. And that's where it's a challenge, right? If, it's like we need the data to justify or create the ROI models to say this technology is providing value, right? But then from a business side, right, there's now a common nature to withdraw. So we'll see,
We'll see.
It's a challenge, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, cool. We're talking about challenges. You talked about some of the benefits, and I think actually taking some of what were challenges before into positives, which was great. But can you talk a little bit about some of the other challenges that companies are facing when adopting XR, and what kind of you done to overcome some of those challenges?
So I'll talk about what I've done in generic sense after I kind of talk about what I would say the majority perception of XR is right now. XR for the majority still is a challenge, right? Because the private nature of XR technology, right? It's intrusive, um, and that intrusiveness plays into culture of a business, the culture of your company. And that I feel from the discussions I've had privately and also publicly, that's a big challenge is for all the companies, right? You know, you have the big names, right? But they've been doing it for years, right? The new guys that are trying to adopt this technology, it's a huge challenge because part of it is they have to make mistakes. They have to understand the technology for it to be successful, right? And some companies are resistant to making a mistake. So now therein lies there's friction, right, in adopting the technology. So it's a case where if you have individuals inside that company that are willing to, one, take the risk, learn from the risk, and then adopt and change the technology for adoption in the company, right, it'll be successful. But there's a lot of trends right now where companies are very eager to look to a consultant to do the adoption, right? And in there lies a risk, right? Because the consultant is only into it for a period of what they're getting paid, right? And then if you get challenges or find issues, miscalculation, right? Now that resource will withdraw, right? So now is the company going to adopt the technology? Most likely not, unless they have someone internally that's willing to champion the technology, right? So that champion that I'm talking about, that is a part of the challenge to adoption, right? Every organization needs a champion or champions, right, depending on the size, to adopt the XR technology. It's a huge, huge challenge. Once you find your organization can adopt the technology, right, then there's the challenge of, well, there's business needs associated to the technology, right? And some areas of XR still aren't there yet for the needs of business. Specifically would be like hardened device or privacy of a device, right? We all know about a very popular XR device that is known not to be very private, right? With licensing and such, it can be, right? Or another product may be more costly, right? And then in any new company adopting new technology, right, cost is a factor. All these things, right, play into that strategy and how you're going to support the technology to effectively be used in your organization. In numerous organizations, not just the one I'm in now, but prior organizations, right, I've been part of the adoption of VR or XR technology into the organization. And the big challenge is what's the right fit, right? You have to look past the smoke and mirrors, past the, oh, this cool generative AI thing, or, you know, MR paperclip. And really what's the tool, this XR tool, going to do to effectively improve business or improve the user experience for your product, right? Asking those questions up front, just being a quote real on what you can expect for the technology, right? And having the honest discussion with, you know, your XR consultants, your XR provider, you know, the hardware providers, right? That's where really very quickly you can effectively overcome a lot of these challenges, right? Because it's a community, it's still a, you know, it's a supportive group effort. It's not a case where you can just go, oh, dial a solution and, you know, magically it's going to work. A lot of those stories don't end well, right? So the strategy is have someone internally evangelize, own it, right? Because you're bound to make mistakes, right? And the only way it's going to get better is by learning from it. And that's really how you're going to get a successful adoption to any platform.
Perfect. Mark, thank you very much for your insights again. It's been great to speak to you, and hopefully we'll catch up again in the near future where you can continue to talk about the amazing work you've done. But in the meantime, thank you very much for your time today.
Pleasure, and you have a great holiday. Take care, my friends.
Thank you.